Hello, 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 everyone out there. It is your girl, Miss Natalie B, and it's Tuesday, y'all. So you already know what it is. It is the Breathe Experience. And as always, if y'all not new to the crew, I'm excited. Always excited, but that's okay. That's just my energy. We're about to talk about some real with you all today. If you've seen the flyer or the cover image for this show, you already know that we're about to go into some real. So go ahead and share this here post to your friends, to your colleagues, to your family members, to your community members, all the activists you know, because we're about to dive into systemic racism, okay? And it's a whole lot of other coins that we can call it and terms that we can call it. But before we hop deep down into the show, y'all already know how we started off. We start off by doing a few different things. One is going to be playing our self-appointed intro, which is the amazing Miss India Ari, the goddess herself, with Breathe, because that's what we're here to remind you all to do on top of talking about these issues, because we're going to let you know. And then we do our Breathe moments. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this intro song, and then we will be right back to get into this reel. Okay. All right. Sometimes you just can't believe the things your eyes see. So much injustice in this life, and it's happening right on your TV screen. So you drop to your knees and you pray, cause you can hear him saying he can't breathe. And it's all so overwhelming, because you know there's nothing you can do to help him. Continue to breathe, continue to breathe. In times like these, that's what your heart is for. Continue to breathe, continue to breathe. In honor of your brother, that's what your heart is for. There's always someone trying to take someone's power away. The history of the world is violent. Will it ever change? Now we're living in a time when you just can't hide. There's a camera in every hand. It's not elusive, even when they treat you like you're useless. We know what the truth is. Continue to breathe, continue to breathe. In times like these, that's what your heart is for. Continue to breathe, continue to breathe. In honor of your brother, that's what your heart is for. Fight for your life, fight for your life. In the face of a society that doesn't value your life. For the men in your life, for the boys in your life, for your brothers, for your fathers, for the ones that came before us. For the future, for the future, for the future, for the future. Continue to breathe in times like these. That's what your heart is for. Continue to breathe. Continue to breathe. In honor of your brother, that's what your heart is for. In times like these, nothing matters more. Till you breathe in honor of your brother. That's what your heart is for. Continue to breathe. That's what your heart is for. Continue to breathe. Continue to breathe. In honor of your brother. That's what. Continue to breathe. Times like these, that's what your heart is for.
Yo, welcome again, everybody. This is the Breathe experience. I hope you guys took that deep breath with me. It's Tuesday, and it is Breathe Experience Tuesday here with the Healing Academy. Okay, and again, it's your girl, Miss Natalie B. Dion Victoria will be hopping in with us very, very soon. And that is our intro song. That is Miss India Irie Breathe. If you all have not heard that song before, go check it out. Check it out. Check it out. India Irie is an amazing. Uh, she's amazing. Phenomenal artist who refuses to let anybody forget that she's for the culture, that she's for the greater good, and that she moves in spirit. So I love her deeply. Go check out India.Arie, all of her music, but definitely replay, breathe, and take that moment for yourself because that's what we're here to remind you to do. Take deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, find your center, ground yourself, and find your peace. Okay? And outside of getting it started and getting it popping with Breathe, our intro song, it's our Breathe moment. So for everybody who's here with us, go ahead and drop down in the comments who needed to breathe this week. Who was it? Was it you? Was it them kids? Was it your spouse? Whom was it that had to take a breath this week? All right. Dion Victoria.
Hey,
Hey, mama, how are you?
I'm okay.
Uh-oh.
I
Ain't
have,
you, sis?
I
Not
have,
in this time. I pressed the button early this time. Make sure. I can't hear you though, sis. It's not me this time, I promise.
now.
But while Zion Victoria checks out her kinks, I can't hear you. I cannot.
About now.
While Miss Dion Victoria works out her kinks, I'm gonna let y'all know who needed to breathe this week. Now, granted, you guys, it's been me for going on pushing on to almost what 3 months now. It's been me. I've been doing a lot of self reflection. Okay. But that's important. When we talk about breathing and taking those deep breaths, it's really important that it's not always someone else's fault around you or something somebody else needs to fix around you. Sometimes we need to fix ourselves. So just a reminder on that note. Okay. But for me this week, I had to breathe due to this snow. Okay, I needed Chicago weather to breathe this week. I don't know if anyone on the line with us is from Chicago or around the Chicagoland area or anywhere else where it has snowed. Snow. It's not just snowing; it's snowing out here in these streets. I know they're going crazy out in Texas. I done checked in with some family and some friends who's in Texas. Lord, they out there without power going in and out, and all they got was a little dust in the snow. Oh, child, I need all the down south places to fix whatever they need to fix so they can be able to function when they get a little sprinkling of snow. Cause we swimming in snow up here. I'm gonna post my pictures. If you all have my personal page, I'm gonna post my pictures. But luckily, blessings that I am not home alone. I'm sheltering in place with a lot of my family. So they were out there and I got to sleep in with my son while they were out there shoveling snow. So Chicago weather needed to breathe this week because it was snowing legit like all week. And then yesterday it was like, you know what? Let me just stop playing with you. Give you all the snow.
Oh no, it's not
Victoria, we just out together
in these streets. I know they're going crazy out in Texas. I didn't check all week, and then yesterday it was like, you know what? Let me just stop playing with you. Give you all.
Hear me? Are you talking? You're not talking, Dion? No. I hear you, sir.
Oh, okay. I didn't do anything.
So, what was your breathe experience this week?
Girl, well, I just did a good job breathing just now, but
yes,
I'm trying to get up in here just now. Man, pray for the pink people. Pray for the pink people.
The pink people.
And specifically the gentlemen. Because they just have no idea. Like, Some. I'm overgeneralizing. It's definitely always exceptions to the rule.
Absolutely.
But I'm trying to get into the parking lot. This man begins walking behind my car. Two cars are coming down in front of me. There's nowhere for them to go. So I'm trying to reverse back so that they can get out. But he won't stop walking from behind my car. And he's telling me I can go over into where the snow is high. I'm sorry, no. I've gotten stuck enough times. You were just talking about this snow.
Right.
Drive over there. Have you seen my little bitty, cute little petite little? I'm not about to drive into no 3-inch or more. I'm just not doing it. So you gonna push the car out, sir?
He gonna be gone by then.
You gonna be gone by the time I'm stuck in this snow up here. You gonna be gone.
The roof.
I know what it sounds like. I didn't got stuck enough time.
Because that's a pretty accurate sound effect. You ain't never lied. That's an accurate sound effect.
So no, sir, I cannot drive over there, sir. I'm sorry. So I'll open my door. Are you gonna move? Are you gonna move around, or I'm gonna move around, sir? Look.
What do you need me to do, sir? Other than go in the snow, are you gonna move your body from in front of this umpteenth ton vehicle? Are you?
So I had to breathe because the motherfucker thought the gentleman thought it was a good idea to start using profanities. Although he did not direct them towards me, he was talking about the situation. And
it was the energy.
And lo and behold, he's walking into the building getting his mail. I should have checked out with. Anyway, Scorpio moon, y'all. We come up with all types of plans. We have it all calculated and ready to go. But the good people, we never actually do it.
Just the thoughts come through the head.
I'm trying to stop the thoughts at the door, but it's hard. It's hard. They be creeping in. It'd be like this much open. They'd be like, ha!
Got him. I'm in there now.
Here's the plan. What about this one?
Yo, but you know what? It's again, that was not only the Chicago snow, but that was also people's self-reflective skills were not intact. Because if he took a moment to breathe, because that's what we're all here to do, if he would have taken a moment to breathe, he'd have been like, let me analyze this situation. Let me come about myself.
Let me
analyze this situation. And when she really don't have any other options but come the way that I just want to be. I just want to be here. I can be other places, but I want to be behind her car, and she needs to move this vehicle. Let me get out of her way. My bad, sis. My bad, queen.
Come on. That's all you had to do. Just move out the way so I could let these people by.
And then everybody could have went about their business.
Come on. Now they had to. Now he won't move. He did end up moving, but at that point I was like, I'm not going in that direction no more because I don't want that stank energy. So I started moving forward. The people had to reverse all the way back. I'm like, fam, you know what? Make a way for me then. Make a way. The queen is here.
But that's all right, girl, because people, listen, he needs to take a breath. Let's breathe for him. Let's breathe for all of you. Y'all breathe moments this week, whomever it was. If you was somebody else, let's take a breath for this snow in through the nose. And we gonna dust it on off with his old dusted. I ain't even gonna joke. I ain't even gonna old school Chicago frown. Boy, I was gonna get him.
Pretty coming.
Boy, when you hear that boy, you know somebody finna get
your big. Get your
boy. Come on, for everybody that's old school Chicago, please drop that down. Or even if you're not from Chicago and y'all had that elsewhere, drop that in the comments if y'all identify with that. Boy, and then the hand. When the hand come through, boy, it's about to go down.
They used to really go crazy. They used to really go crazy when I was a kid because it was not only the hand, it was the head too. Like it was
both. That's how you know it's real. Like, when you get the head, and the boy, somebody is about to be eviscerated. Like, like everybody in the class, even the teacher be like, oh, damn. That was my life experience. I don't know if y'all identify with that, but me and Dion clearly are on the same page. It's going down when that boy neck, head, shoulders, and hand comes together. It's over with.
Yeah.
So we're gonna breathe all of that off because that is what we're here to do. But we're gonna have to breathe all the way through this one to be 100% honest. Cause y'all today we finna get real with you, okay? I let you in a little bit, but I'm gonna go open the door now, okay? We talking about systemic racism. All right. Now I told y'all better share to all your activist friends, all your woke friends. If you that woke friend, go and drop that in the comments. We gonna want y'all to have this dialogue with us, honey. Cause people here, I'm a little woke or whatever. I'm a little revolutionary or whatever you want to call that. So there's a whole lot of directions we can go in with having this conversation. And I know Dion Victoria, quiet as it's kept, y'all might not know, but she a revolutionary out here as well. She's just a little quieter than me.
I spent my early 20s being very noisy and had to learn, shh, not everybody needs to know. Quiet. Everybody needs to know. So I was very, like, my early 20s were, hey, did you know? With the signs and the whole
the people with the cardboard signs out here in the street.
Girl, I need you to look at this sign.
Something wrong here. Something wrong here, people.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about it here today. Systemic racism. Yeah. Okay. Can you give your definition for us on what you think systemic racism is? I'll give my definition, and then I have a definition that I pulled offline here as well.
I mean, being an educated person, not even being an educated person, just being aware of my surroundings, you are aware of systemic racism. Anytime that there's a system in place designed to oppress people, no matter what their color is, like, no matter, right? Anytime there's a system in place designed to oppress people by some type of demographic that they are within, we have systemic isms, whether it's ageisms, racism,
all the isms,
right? And we see, in my eyes, I feel that there's a campaign to move away from racist ideals and more towards capitalistic ideals, in which it's survival of the fittest and social Darwinism and all that beautiful stuff that really means that we can pick off the weak, those who don't have money. They are the prey, we're the predators. That's what it really means.
Hunger Games.
So Hunger Games, when in actuality there's plenty to go around also in Hunger Games, but that's
right. There's more than enough for everybody, but
systemic racism is any time that the system is used to oppress people. That's my simplest way to put it. By system, I mean all the social systems that make our society work. So whether it's the economic system that is using certain demographics to, like, for example, if you have a certain credit score that's too low, they will charge you an extra amount of money in order to write a mortgage out to you. But I'm like, wait, if your credit
or
score,
charge you higher interest rates, or charge you period.
If the credit score is low, then don't that mean they didn't have the money in the first place?
Come on here.
So why
and you always wondering why rich people get a whole lot of free stuff.
Come on, why you get free stuff and you got money to pay for it? That's okay. That's okay. Y'all, and that's the other part to systemic racism. The rules change all the time. All the time. Depending on who you're talking to. Depending on which language you're speaking.
Come on.
The system changes depending on who is trying to serve in the moment. Well, there's this little thing.
I mean, we did the same face at the same time.
We intertwined, sis. I don't know when we did this spirit swap, but we did. So,
come on.
There's this little movie called The Matrix.
You might have heard of it.
Right? There's two movies that I want people to check out. I can't find the second one. The first one is The Matrix, and the second one is Speed Racer. You didn't hear me talk about Speed Racer before. I'm gonna talk about it again. In Speed Racer, they use the system to bring the system down. Right? In The Matrix, they're stepping outside of the system to bring the system down. We need both.
Yeah.
We need both. Therefore, I just need y'all to check out these movies, figure out what your role is in this situation. If being a janitor is your role that you play, go be the best janitor ever. You don't have to go be president. You don't have to go join a war. You don't have to do all these big things to stop systemic racism. And we can talk more about what are some of the things that you can do. But I just want people to get in their head. Your purpose does not have to be this grandiose thing. Immortal Technique is a rapper, and he wrote this song about this girl named Alice, and she was an artist. And she drew from the day she woke up to the day she was on her deathbed. They was like, Alice, you ain't had no kids. You ain't had a real job. Alice, you suck. She was like, what? I live my life to the fullest. I drew every day. I'm an artist. She wasn't caught up on no outside. No, we have to live in our purpose. And if we don't, the system wins.
That actually is a perfect lead in. And hey, y'all, I see Tatiana and Chanel on the line. Hey, Tat said the rules changed to benefit the leading group. Absolutely. And what you just said, Dion, leads in perfectly to what we discussed yesterday on Chanel's show, which is every Monday, except next Monday at 6 p.m. We talked about purpose and how we can live in our purpose. And the title of the show was Protected by My Purpose. She had a near-death experience where she could have been out of here. But she said she was protected by her purpose because she had something to do here on this realm, on this plane of existence. And so you have to live in your purpose, and how everything you do for a lot of us, for everybody, I believe, honestly, in my opinion, is leading us to our purpose. Even the stuff we think is negative, the stuff we rather not have happen to us, is leading to our purpose. And our purpose, whatever that is, can be how we shift systematic racism. And now I'm going to give my overall definition of systematic racism. If you all have the definition, feel free to drop that down in the comment as well, or your viewpoints on systematic racism. Go ahead, drop that down in the comments, and then I'll read the definition that I found online. But basically, it's spot on to what you said, Dion. And they also call it institutional racism as well as systemic racism.
Because it's a form of institutions, right?
It's what you said?
It's part of the institutions. Like, we don't think about the hospital as
right,
part of a racist institution, but it is.
Exactly. And so that's actually what this definition says. Institutional racism, also known as systemic racism, is a form of racism that is embedded. Check this piece out. I need y'all to really listen to this piece. It is embedded. It's a racism that is embedded as normal practice. I'm going to say that part again. Racism that is embedded in normal practice within society or an organization. So one of the biggest reason why systemic racism or institutional racism is a huge thing that has to be destroyed. It has to be destroyed, but it's so hard to destroy, is because it's embedded into our society so much so that we think it's normal. That as the generations go on and it's still there and we grow up in it. So we oh, this is the way it's always been.
Right.
Yeah, they just don't treat us different because of color of skin. Yeah, they kill us sometimes because of color of skin. This is the way it's always been. Right? And then not even just flat out KKK, burning crosses, lynching people type of racism. But, I can't wear my hair the way it naturally grows out of my head at this job. But that's just the way it is. You just got to get a perm.
Right.
Or, I can't, lighter skinned people get those types of jobs. That's not okay, but it's so embedded into our everyday society and organizations that it's just a thing. It's normalized when it's not normal, it's not okay. That's what's so crazy about institutional or systematic racism is we get comfortable with it to the fact that we don't know we need to fight it. That's the whole overwhelming problem for me specifically. We get comfortable and that's why it's so hard to break, because a lot of people don't even know it's a thing. What? That's just the way it's always been. What you mean? You mad at that? Yeah, you should be too.
That's why it's important, though, to show that it hasn't always been that way. Like, I think we need to start really paying attention because it really hasn't always been this way.
What do you mean? Can you break that down? What hasn't always been this way?
It hasn't always been a systemically this system in place. First off, this system in place is relatively new. On the grander scheme of things, the system in place is relatively new. The other part is like, well, there's a lot of things that it just, this wasn't always the way. Slavery didn't always appear the way it appeared in America.
Mm-hmm.
The dollar was not always worth as much as it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't start using the dollar until people in Europe decided, oh, instead of going to the bank and withdrawing our gold, we'll just exchange these money notes. I'll say who did that, but I don't want to get in no trouble. So
Bruh, speak your truth. This is Breathe Experience Tuesday. Okay.
The Jesuits or the Jewish people.
Come on, speak your truth. Because the people need to know to break down this systemic racism. We got to know all the racisms, okay? Where it starts and where it comes from.
The Jewish people who operated the banks at the time in Europe started trading, saying that they had more in the bank than they actually did. And that's actually how we got all these busts and booms and stuff happening. And that's how they can make these artificial, what you call those, these artificial depressions and recessions and stuff, because they
Come on, speak your truth, sis.
They say the dollar is worth X amount, and then all of a sudden it's not, because that's not even what the dollar is worth. The dollar is a piece of money, a piece of paper, y'all. It's a piece of paper that we all agree is tender, is legal tender. But if at any point we say we don't want this no more, you can turn away $1, y'all. As a business owner, you can say, I don't want your dollars no more. Now, you got some other issues about getting your money at that time. But understand, legally, you have the right to not take money as legal tender, because the cash dollar. Because, and that's probably one of the main reasons why they're trying to move away from the dollar, because then you can't track it as easily. And then they really can do artificial recessions. Then that'll be just about a click of a button, because we don't have any physical representation of the money. I can go on and on about this, because this is the stuff I used to rant and rave about.
Back in your 20s when you was on your cardboard box.
Tatiana said, many choose to turn a blind eye to racism because it's painful to accept and often lead to feelings of hopelessness to change. Did you?
I agree. Yes, ma'am. I agree. And then I'm gonna add another one to the screen. But thank you, Tatiana. I feel, and that goes along with the next comment I'm gonna bring up. I feel that it's very important to understand that people get complacent and people also get indoctrinated and brainwashed mentally to believe it's captive. When you're a captive, right? You got stole from your home, right? Say at a young age. And what's the name of this? What's the term? I'm trying to think of the term. When the captive starts identifying with the person who kidnapped them. What am I? Stockholm syndrome? Stockholm syndrome. That's it. Stockholm syndrome. I found it. But we have Stockholm syndrome. So absolutely, our own people start perpetuating this foolishness. because we have Stockholm syndrome. We were kidnapped. Our ancestors, it wasn't even us, it was lineages ago. Our ancestors were kidnapped and brought to this country and indoctrinated with foolishness and Western civilization and practices. And then they raised us in that way. And a lot of the things that we were raised up in, and I say to our ancestors, if it wasn't for their strength and their will, we wouldn't be where we are today. But a lot of the things that were passed down within us was those indoctrinations from the captives, right? From the people who kidnapped us, right? But then also from fear and from trauma. It was survival, right? And so now you're left with generations past. You have us that are here walking on this planet now, and we still have those that indoctrination, the mental brainwashing, the trauma, and the fear-based teaching within us, and we're passing that on to our children, right? So that's why when the Fred Hampton movie came out and everybody's like real big mad at the brother who was the informant for the FBI. Absolutely. But we also have to remember who the enemy is. Yes, that brother was bogus. Yes, he should have been like, kill me or put me in jail, whatever. I'm not going to ruin this movement because ain't no telling where we could have been if the Black Panther Party existed and was treated as the amazing organization that they were and not terrorists when KKK still ain't on the terrorist list. But I ain't going to go there. I ain't going to go there because that's systematic racism right there. That is oppression. They was, listen, I'm gonna take a sidebar for a second. KKK literally still to this day out here killing people, marching and burning stuff and doing all types of craziness, and they not on the terrorist list. Look at the country we live in, and y'all tell me what's foolish or not, and what systematic racism is. And the fact that we think that's okay, and we ain't rose up enough to actually get that changed. But the Black Panther Party was a terrorist group that the FBI had to have informants on. They would roll up to their headquarters and straight up have shootouts and basically assassinate people and all this other stuff. And we still good with that? That's systematic racism, y'all. The system was set up to benefit them and oppress us. That's literally what systematic racism is right there. When you say white privilege, you're talking about systematic racism. When you say white privilege, you're talking about systematic racism. But anyway, it's Stockholm syndrome. We got Stockholm syndrome. We got PTSD, and we got Stockholm syndrome as melanated people walking on this continent right now, and in other places all over the world. We have Stockholm syndrome and we have PTSD because of systematic racism and because racism in general, right? But thank y'all for y'all comments. Yes. Thank you for the Stockholm syndrome. She had wrote it down. Thank you, sis. Absolutely. But that's the thing. So I'll go ahead because I didn't even finish with this definition. I just wanted to break down that part right there. So I'm gonna run it back from the beginning. So institutional racism, also known as systematic racism, is a form of racism that is embedded as normal practice within a society or an organization, which is what we're facing right now today. What'd you say, sis?
It's normal for Karen to call the police on people in the park having barbecues. That's normal.
Or bird watching.
It's normal.
Or walking down the street, or manning their own business, or walking to their car, or walking in their house in a white neighborhood.
Come on, walking in a house. It's normal. This is normal, guys. You should be okay with us. We're just trying to keep the neighborhood safe.
And the police show up like, because it's normalized to them too.
And so we have to stop saying what's normal and start recreating what we want to be normal.
A new normal is the term that's been thrown around out here a lot when it comes to life after COVID or what we're living in right now, because COVID still ain't gone, but it's in a different realm. It's a whole lot. But our new normal, what is our new normal going to be? We have to start thinking about what our new normal, what is that going to be for getting rid of systematic racism? What is our new normal going to be for how we want to raise our children?
Ain't nobody about to stand behind my car and tell me they're not about to move. I'll tell you that much.
That is not a part of the new normal. Boy, ain't about to.
Oh my God. I didn't see you there.
Oops.
I got the right away, right? Because it was behind.
Come on here. So we have to decide what our new normal is going to be, and if we're still going to keep allowing this foolishness. Because who says we have to? It's a picture that I keep sharing every time it comes across me. I share it to the Melanated America page and to my personal page. Because every time it comes up, I'm gonna share it. It's a shark swimming, and then like a school of fish have formed to a bigger fish, and they basically it looks like it's eating a shark. If y'all seen that, let me know. But people are like, if you get this, you get it. Like if you get it, you get it. Absolutely get it. And now that the movie about Fred Hampton has come out, everybody like, oh, I get it now. Like it's basically when we come together as a people, we're bigger than systematic racism. We're bigger than institutionalized racism. We're bigger than racism. When we come together as a people, when we educate ourselves to what systematic racism is and stop acting like it's normal, then we can really create some change. Because who says it has to stay this way? Laws are written to change this stuff that they've been doing for forever. Why are the laws not in place to make sure that we are treated as citizens? Because we're still not for real being treated as citizens or accepted for who we are. And it's a whole lot of other ways we can go about it, but I'm gonna use the politically correct way and say, laws and stuff like that. There's a whole lot of other ways we can go about it as well, but we have to create our new normal. And when we come together as a collective people and realize that we have the power to do so, that is when things are going to truly change. But it starts with education. So I'm gonna put up this next comment right here because she spoke on it. Speak on it. Educating our children. We have to educate our children, and that is exactly why the Healing Academy is here. And for those of you who are new or to the page or tuning in or may not know this side of the Healing Academy, you may just know our media content. But the Healing Academy is working to open a school. It's going to start at pre-K. It's going to go all the way up to 12th grade. And it is the sole purpose is to truly educate our young people on who they are. Giving them above grade, listen to my grade average quote fingers. Okay, above grade average education. Because what is that? Above grade average education, but also rooting them in who they are, preparing them for life, finances, emotional maturity, literacy, all the way around, right? Health and wellness, right? History. Who are you? Let me show you these Carfax, okay? Let me take it back to the continent and tell you who your people are. Let me bring it right here in your face in your community and tell you who the people are that made these moves and made your life possible right now. They look like you, okay? Like rooting our children in that knowledge base. And when you show them, and we need to re-educate ourselves as adults so that we can educate these babies, right? When you show them this from babies all the way up to adulthood, the world and these inconsistencies and this institutionalized racism, they gonna call BS early because they like, hold up, I'm a king, I'm a queen, hold up, this not normal. You gonna treat me like what? You gonna say I gotta do what? I can't wear my what? Flip the table. And that's literally creating an army of young people that know who they are so that they can change this world, because we can't change the world and change systemic racism because it's wrong if we don't know it's wrong, if we don't know we're worthy, again, if we don't know what we deserve. What'd you say, sis?
I said, again, it goes back to also knowing your purpose, because, again, it may not be that your way of bringing down systemic racism is being a Martin Luther King or a Rosa Parks or Harriet Tubman. You may be support character number 5. We don't know who played that role, but you still got to play. Somebody's got to play it. Somebody got to
right. If it ain't no extras, that background ain't gonna be believable. I'll tell you that much.
You in a city.
Ain't nobody back there. What is it, COVID time? Listen, I watched a movie the other day. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The background people were more hilarious than the main actors. I was rolling at those background people. They facial expression. They didn't have a line. They would just be sitting at a table in the back while somebody arguing, and they like, ooh, like the background characters were hilarious. I was like, yo, It's not the lines that matter. It's your energy, man. Because I would watch that movie and cast the person behind the actor that's acting. Because I was like, oh, I need them in my joint. Like, hilarious. It's not what you're doing, it's how you do it. And that's what Dion started off by saying. If you want to be the janitor, just be the best janitor you can be. That's how you can change systematic racism. That's how you can live your best life. By doing what you want to do and do it to the fullest.
That being said, since we don't have our school yet, right? I'm still an educator. Then I have to figure out ways to still do this because I can't live with it the way it is. And then it goes back to, okay, we have that people who are fully in it, people with 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I feel like that's me. And then the next generations to come will be the ones that's out. And so my way of being 1 foot in, 1 foot out is, as I'm engaged in the schools, telling the kids the truth. And they want the truth.
That part.
Trying to be like, all right, let me water it down because I don't know who parent listening. And they
see the BS already though. Like these kids see the BS. And I
Milton, tell us the truth. We want to know. You know it's racist. I'm like,
I'm right.
Yeah, y'all, it's true. I was trying to.
They know, man.
They don't want their innocence saved.
They know, and it's like, what are we trying to? Okay, when what you just said, like their innocence saved. We're trying to shelter these kids from a life we can't shelter them from when babies getting shot down in the street. We can't shelter them from what's out there as soon as they walk out the house because we're doing them a disservice thinking we're protecting their innocence or sheltering them when we can't do that. We have to protect them by educating them and letting them know exactly what's going on out here so they can be equipped to handle it because they are the future. They are the future. If it's some stuff that you're learning now as an adult that you wish you would have had information on when you was younger, give it to your kids. Don't wait and make them get out here and figure out life late and have to play catch up or get hurt several times over by this system that's set up against them. Educate your children.
That's another thing. A lot of people in our generation thought the system was going to work for them. I go to school, I get my
job,
I get
that degree, get that good job, house, white picket fence, wife, car, kids,
and they depressed and on the route to suicidal because they're not living in their purpose. They thought the system had them. Right? And now they mad at everybody. And I know a lot of Black men, walked away with that degree and thought they was going to be doing something. But then they found out they wasn't.
Because we fall, because we're not truly educating our children on who they are and making sure that no matter how much education you get, you bring that education back to your community. We have a whole lot of people getting educations and think they're better than the community that they came out of. And then realize that degree didn't do nothing for them because they still gonna get pulled over by the police and get profiled. They still ain't got a job with that doctorate. They at Walmart. Like the system, it's because it's embedded. The racism is embedded that you think, oh, you just ain't work hard enough as a Black person. That's why you didn't make it. So I'm a Black person and I worked hard, so I got this degree, so I'm gonna make it. Chances are, some chances you will, some chances say you won't, because the system is not set up for you. So, yes, tell your children to get an education. Tell your children to go, get a degree if that's what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? But also tell them why they're doing it.
And what other options are there?
Trades are amazing. That's how our people came up. When after slavery, we became millionaires. We built towns because we had trades. We were the ones doing all that stuff anyway. Carpentry, mason work. We were the ones doing all of that.
Might as well get paid.
So as soon as we came, a lot of people, when they went from slavery, we was business owners because we already had the skill sets. We're not pushing trades no more, but we're going to always need a plumber. We're not pushing trades no more, but we're going to always need a mechanic. We're not pushing trades no more, but we're going to always need some heating and cooling. Like, for real, y'all not thinking about it because y'all letting this systematic racism, which is not set up for us. The system that say go to school, get a degree, get the job, get the house, car, the kids, the dog, that's not set up for us. And that's why I created Melanated in America, the TV show, to talk specifically to that, to look at young black people trying to make it, who's like, you know what, this ain't set up for me. What do I need to do different? Because that creating that new normal is where we need to be right now. Like, okay, what do I need to do different? Because this is not set up for me. And the thing we need to do different is parent and educate our young people differently. We need to prepare them for what's going on and remind them that even if you want to be the smartest person in the world, you want to get this amazing education, you want to go to the right school if you want to, you need to bring that back to the community. It's always should be, again, Kwanzaa 365. My pledge for Kwanzaa 365 will be dropping real soon. But understanding that if we live by those 7 Kwanzaa principles, which is working together, collective economics, all of this stuff, defining yourself, which is defining our new normal. Okay, all of these different things. If we do these on a daily basis, Kwanzaa is not just 7 days at the end of the year. If we do these things on a daily basis, our communities will be together. They'll be tight. Our children will be together. Our families will be together and tight. And we will be in a better place than we are right now. That's how we break systemic racism. Kwanzaa 365. Y'all look up them principles of Kwanzaa, okay? And then figure out how you can implement them in your life. That is the pledge that I'm going to be dropping really, really soon for Kwanzaa 365 through Melanated America. But that's the point, y'all. We can't just keep feeding our kids to this system and be wondering why our communities, our families are failing, because we feed them to this system instead of building our own up. An elder said once in a discussion at the Southside Community Arts Center, I believe it was Paymon Rami, he said he was speaking to some elders of his back in the day. And, you know, when they started hiring black folks because they had to fill quotas, you know, right? Yeah. And then they started accepting them into some schools to fill quotas, you know. The thing was, he said, you know, young, educated black, we thought we was doing something good. Like, they thought they were doing something good. They thought they was giving these kids a chance or giving these people a chance, but same thing that's happening now. They didn't come back. So we gave away our young, gifted, and black because they didn't come back. Yeah, they got accepted to these schools. They got these jobs, but they didn't come back to the community to put those resources in the community. We talk about resources in the community. We are the resources in the community. Come on, sis. You better be alive. Let's get it. We are the resources in the community. We're giving away our resources because everybody's trying to run from the hood instead of fixing it. If you running, that it's gonna be another little person that look just like you that can't wait to get out, and then the community is left the same way. That's why I say it so much. Y'all gonna always hear me say it. I believe desegregation was the problem because before, when we only could live together, our communities was popping.
I think it's part of the problem.
Systematic racism is still a thing. Which has always been there.
We care so little about things that look like us, even if it looks dirty or, you know, why don't we go clean it up? Why don't we? Why are we like, I'm just going to move away. I don't value the people or the things that look like me so much that I'm just going to move away. It's not just the system, but it's also how we have allowed the system to be a part of us.
We've been brainwashed. We got Stockholm syndrome.
It was said before, like some black people get in the way. This is why, because they don't love themselves.
And to what Todd said as well about that's the fear of when black people get together, they treat it like terrorists. On Free Your Mind Friday, where Andre Brown, we were talking about how his uncle would tell stories back when they were in university that if more than 3 black people were in like 15 feet of each other, it was against the law. What?
Sounds about right.
Like, sounds like that's how big scared they are of us waking up though. So we need to wake up. That's what's going on. We need to wake up and change the mindset, change the world. Literally. That's why Free Your Mind Fridays on Fridays is called Free Your Mind Fridays, because you change your mindset. If you remove the shackles off your mind, you remove the shackles off your life, and everything around you, your universe opens up, right? Change your mind, you change your life. So that's why it's important to not only educate these babies because they're our future, but educate ourselves. Like deprogram the Stockholm syndrome, delete, delete, delete the stress and the trauma teachings. We have to, y'all, if we're gonna get to a better place, because systematic racism is existing and thriving because of that. Because we're still, because it's straight up, especially if you talk to some elders, right? And I know a lot of down for the cause elders, so it's not all elders, but some elders, if you have a conversation with them on some things, they gonna shut you down instantly because that's not what they did back in their day. But you also have to understand that's from fear and trauma, because they couldn't look at a white person in the eye without it being an Emmett Till situation.
It's a survival mechanism, y'all.
It's survival. And it's been that way because we got Stockholm syndrome.
Okay, so we are coming up on the end of the show. So I do want to have some conversation too about the need for us to really take a deep breath and figure out, how do we move out of survival mechanisms? How do we walk away and start to think about growth, creativity within all these other things that are going on? That's the beauty of Black people. That's why they love us so much and watch us so hard, because we make something out of nothing so much that it's like, okay, how many times they gonna make something else? God dang it. I need them to stop.
Especially in spite of all the obstacles they keep putting our way. They keep putting obstacles up, and we keep jumping over them joints or painting them and making them turn into a mural.
Come on now. How are we gonna make this mess into a masterpiece?
Thanks.
Because it's time, y'all, for us to walk away from fear, or let it walk with us. Oh, I asked my students, I was like, y'all, real talk, how do you get out of fear? How do you get away from it? There's like, you can't. It's just, you just gotta live with it, and you gotta be able to live through it and work through it. And I was just like, y'all so smart. Because for real, so when I've done the research, fear is a mechanism that happens within your body. It's meant to keep you safe. Now, what we've done is we've attached fear to things that are not actual things to be afraid of, right? The fear of not having money. I bet you any money, the moment you say money's not a factor, I'm taken care of, you can have $1 in your account, but you ain't gonna be hungry, and you're gonna have a roof over your head, and you're gonna have a ride from A to B, and
that's because we manifest our reality, but we're also not taught that.
So when my kids told me that I had to figure out, because I had been dealing with fear, and that's whenever I can't handle stuff, I go to my ancestors, I go to my peer groups, I go to my students, actually, because they real smart. So they give me a lot of really good advice. And so I'm like, y'all, what do y'all do in this situation? And they're just like, we have to live through it. We have to keep going. We have to move. We cannot let fear consume us, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, y'all some real smart people. I need to listen to y'all more.
And that's why we need to start giving them the tools and the mindset they need to flip the table. Because it's going to be them. Because they like fear. Yeah, it's there. But, so we got to start giving them the tools. We have to, man. It's better to it, because these babies, they come in here on another level for a reason. We wondering why all these greats are passing away to the ancestral plane. Baby, they coming back. Their energy is coming back. Their energy is pushing us from the other side. If they not coming back, it's because it's a shift that's happening, y'all. My opinion. I ain't an astrologist. I don't know. I'm just giving you my opinion. It's a shift that's happening, and we got to prepare these kids. We got to prepare ourselves for the shift. And we're in an age where things are about to change.
Because you're going to be, you don't have a choice. Now, what part are you going to be a part of is your choice. You're going to be a part of change, period.
I think it goes back to what you said earlier. Whatever you're deciding to do, make sure you do it. If you a teacher, I think a lot of people, like, the roles that they have we take them joints for granted and we don't really live it to the best and to the fullest. Like as a parent, I was saying this yesterday. As a parent, that is a huge responsibility that you can, like I was saying, you think Martin Luther King mama knew she was raising Martin Luther King?
Come on
You
now.
think Malcolm X mama knew she was raising Malcolm X? You think Obama mama knew she was raising Obama? Like, if we just take that mindset though, because then we could be like, our kids could be dynamic. Our kids will be dynamic if we come with that mindset and that energy to them. They will be. And whatever they decide to do. Because everybody ain't gonna be the president. Everybody not gonna be the civil rights activist. Everybody not gonna be the mayor. Everybody not gonna be, somebody gonna be a doctor. Somebody gonna be a lawyer. Somebody gonna be a gym teacher. Somebody gonna be an artist. But if you give them that energy that you're amazing, you're dynamic, you can do whatever it is that's on your heart and your mind to do, you manifest your life. This is the history backing you of all the greats who look just like you, really feeding into these children and owning that parent role. It's not just making sure your kids survive. It's not just making sure they got food on the table. That's a part of it. And I know that part can overwhelm the energy and the space to do the other part. But that's what we're here to do. If you were given a child, that was what you were giving that child to do. To feed into them, to mold them into a beautiful being, to be the best that they can be out here in this world. Right? If you are an auntie, because it might not even be your kid. If you might be an auntie, that's your job as an auntie. Because sometimes the parents can't be the one to do it because they stressed out. That's why it takes a village to raise a child. If the parents at work and they can't pour in and you TT and you babysitting, TT, it's your job now. Uncle, it's your job now to make sure these kids have that support and you help to change their mind. That's one way that we shift in the future and we gonna change systematic racism. If you are a teacher, because a lot of times these kids is at school more than they at home.
Hello.
It's your job to pour into these kids. When I was working with my teens, yeah, I was teaching them theater. Yeah, I was teaching them world and all this other stuff. But I'm teaching you, who are you and what role are you going to play in being a part of the solution? And how are you going to identify the problem so that you can pose the solution? Because you can. Because you can. I didn't let them say can't. If somebody in the class said can't, the whole class looked at them like, oh. Excuse me? I don't understand that. What? We don't do that here. We don't do that here. We don't do that here. Where they do that at, not in here. You can do anything you put your mind to. And I think that's what's so important. And if you're a painter, paint the future. Paint the new normal. Or cause awareness to this broke normal. I bleeped myself. This broken normal. Paint that. You know what I'm saying? If you're a singer, use your voice. If you're a speaker, say it. Like, if you're a writer, write it. Because on one of the Freedom Mile Fridays, Lamar Gales came on and he was saying how we need to write our own history. We need to write our own books. Absolutely. I just posted in the Melanated America page. We need to, all these history, Black history majors, write the history book. We need our own history book. Somebody do that. Like, we can do that. We can create our new normal. Stop waiting on people to give you permission to change the world. No, just change the world. Because who says it has to be this way?
Don't ask for permission. Ask for forgiveness.
Honey.
Oh, sorry.
And barely that.
I didn't know I couldn't do that.
Come on. Come on here. And that part. And so, D, if you want, let's take some time now to pose some ways that people can shift systematic racism and start winding down into our breathe moment, if you would. And that painting coming along nicely, my ass.
You see it?
Yes.
Yes. Are we looking at my painting?
I've been sneaking peeking, so I didn't widen out the screen like, oh yeah.
Turn that camera a little bit.
Screen got a little wide. I'm like,
So irritated. One of the first ways that we can really start to combat systemic racism is to acknowledge it and observe it. Don't necessarily do something about it immediately, especially if you don't understand or know how, because you might end up in a situation you don't want to be in. Speaking from experience. So I'm just saying, start by acknowledging it. Oh, it's real. It's happening.
And find out the ways that it is happening.
And understand it to the fullest of your ability. Observe it. Take notes. Do research. get a full grasp and understanding of what it is that we're dealing with, because it's not just about white versus black.
It's not.
It's
It's
really,
not.
that's just a tool and a tactic to keep people divided.
Absolutely.
We actually want to partner with people, white people, to be quite honest. We want to partner with people of all ethnicities, because the systemic racism is not just for black people, it's for
Say
who
that.
needs to be oppressed in the moment.
Say that.
So it could be anybody else at any other time, kind of like how the Nazis did the Jewish people. At first, they came from this person, then they came for the gypsies, then they came for everybody else. And when they came for the Jews, it was nobody else to help stand up. There's a poem, a famous poem about this. There's nobody else left but just me. And so they got me. Like, we got to stand together. And when our brothers and sisters of other ethnicities and racial backgrounds are experiencing things, we got to stand next to them.
Yeah.
We have to. We have to say, you know what? Your problem is our problem.
We
Now,
have to be our own backing. We have to create a backing. So it's
yes,
like if you mess with them, you got to come through all of us too. And they might think twice. We can't just say, "Oh, that happened to them. That's so unfortunate." Like they got these kids in cages from the Hispanic and Latino brother and sister. What? You got kids in cages? They some of them just coming up missing. They getting sexually assaulted. You got babies taken away from their parents, thrown in there with some other people they don't even know. Really? And y'all all right with this? This is what I'm saying when I'm saying create your new normal and create that backing, because we more alike than we are different. If you want to really look at that thing, we need to be each other's backing.
yep.
I feel that 100%. So
What are your thoughts? Do you want to add any before we move forward?
yeah, I just think actually I wanna go into this next part because we keep getting stopped at that same part about it being embedded. I never went to the next sentence because that's so important. Like that's it. Like
Sis,
that first sentence is it. What you say?
you're still on the definition.
We never made past it being embedded in society.
Well, I ain't saying nothing else to this definition is complete. We on the end of the time. I said, finish, girl.
What? Okay, this is it right here. Okay. It can lead to such issues as discrimination and criminal justice. So you just said look at it for what it is before you act, so you can see what it is fully, right? Criminal justice, discrimination and criminal justice, employment, housing, healthcare, political power, and what have we been talking about the whole time? Education. So all of these different ways, people aren't even noticing to the fact that, like, when we say black women are dying at a higher rate because doctors ain't listening to them, that's systematic racism in healthcare. Redlining, that's systematic racism in housing. We can only live in certain areas. Still to this day, you might think that's some nonsense, but that's real life. Employment, you're not getting hired because of your hair or what you look like or your background or your name, because they whole look at resumes and be like, nah, not that one. Come on, we have to look at these things. So it's embedded into all of these things, and it says among other issues. Okay, and I'm gonna stop there because I think that's really the most important piece of this, because it goes on to say it's really important to recognize the harmful effects of institutional racism and the effects it can have on people, especially students in schools where it is prominent. It's definitely prominent in schools and higher education, and we don't talk about how prominent it is in elementary school and high school as well, but it definitely is, especially when we really take a look at what these teachers are teaching, because we ain't vetting the teachers in the way we need to, because there's too many incidents where these teachers are racist and they teaching it to these kids. That's why it's important.
That's why we got to start with that awareness, because they don't even know they racist. They have no clue. Like, people say stuff. I went to school with these people, y'all. I went to school. People would say things and they don't even know. They don't even know. And they got good intentions. Their hearts are in it. They really do care. But they don't know that their thoughts are racist.
Because it's systematic. It's embedded. It's normalized. Girl. So black, white, Latino, Hispanic, Asian, we need to stand together and come up off this nonsense. And I think one thing that Tot said really early on was saying that it's uncomfortable to deal with the racism. It's uncomfortable for Black people because we can't feel hopeless, as she was saying, because it's so much wrong. So much wrong. But then it also is uncomfortable for white people to realize what their ancestors have done in the system that they're benefiting from. So white people and other races who are benefiting from the systematic racism, you got to get uncomfortable too to acknowledge and understand, like, hey, I'm winning because you losing.
Right.
Or I'm at a greater standing because you and your people and your ancestors worked hard. When I don't have to do as much, you got to come to that realization and get uncomfortable with us because we already uncomfortable. So, like, talking about allies and coming together, you can't fully do that until we realize that this systematic racism is a thing for us. But until you realize it's a thing for us too, and say, all right, let me get uncomfortable with you. And yeah, my ancestors did that. How can I be a part of fixing it? That's the real. And that's all I wanted to add.
Girl, you know I don't know how to be normal. I think
You gotta create your new normal, sis. Whatever that is to you.
this is the sad part is this was the always normal. The other stuff was me keeping it under wraps. Nobody knew. Everybody's like, have you always? Yes, I have. You just didn't
What
know.
is normal though? I'm strange. That's my favorite part about me.
Yeah, but there's like normal strange. Then there's like
There's no. Can we just say that there's no such thing as normal? Because there isn't. There isn't. What is that? Normal.
I
What is that? Oh, and I do want to say the last thing before we do our brief moment and close it out is just reiterating the fact that you can change the world. You can help break down systemic and institutionalized racism by becoming aware of it, sharing that awareness with others and teaching it and those who you have access to teach, and then also doing your very best in whatever that is for you. So we list some things earlier: being your very best janitor, teacher, parent, auntie, uncle,
whatever
uh,
you play.
what a celebrity, if you have influence, even better. Because like Cicely Tyson, Ashe, who just passed away, she dedicated her life to being a vessel to create change. And in a realm where it was Black exploitation films, she said, I don't want to do that. And she never did. She played and chose her roles specifically. It wasn't about the money, it wasn't about the clout. It was about, how can I represent my people? So think that in whatever you do
Yeah.
and really create that change, because you manifest your life. Let's manifest some greatness, y'all. Let's manifest this new normal. That's peaceful and glorified for everybody.
And on that note, let's go ahead and take some deep breaths and think about what manifestation looks like when we take time to manifest our greater selves. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Settle into yourself wherever you are, however you are, and just love yourself. If you need to, give yourself a hug and just love all of who you are, all of everything that had to occur to bring you here to this moment, which includes the ancestors and the people that had to come together in all those generations for you to be you in this very moment. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, if you're hugging yourself, release your arms and your hands to your lap and just sit comfortably with the self. Start to think about people who make you happy, people who you're proud of, people who are proud of you. Just start to imagine they're all around you, they're laughing, they're smiling, you're laughing, you're smiling with them. And just feel the joy of the moment as these people are around you, dancing, smiling, laughing, whatever it is, whatever movement you have in mind. Just know that they are all around you, celebrating together with you, because we are here now. Now I want you to think about some people who are outside of that circle. Maybe they're not as attached and you're not as attached to them, but you see them, you appreciate them, you acknowledge them, you accept them, and from afar, you have a love for them. Just, if you can think of some faces, think them up. If you can't, just imagine some. Now, I want you to do your best to imagine those that you can't see or think of, but that you want to consider in loving and accepting. And maybe they look like you, and maybe they don't. But you want to acknowledge them and accept them and love on them as much as you loved on yourself, as much as you loved on those people who were out in your inner circle, in your outer circle. And now those people, you have no idea who they are, but you want to love on them because guess what? They deserve it too. Now I want you to feel your connection to everybody on this planet. Believe it or not, you are connected to everyone and everything. It all comes from the source, and we are all connected. You are connected to those things that you desire to manifest. They are already in your grasp. All you have to do is open your hands and let them present themselves. You don't even have to hold on to them because they're already in your palm. And the moment you squeeze down will be the moment they slip away from you. So just relax and let your blessings be onto you. Take a deep breath in, accepting all that love and light. And exhale anything that stops you and gets in your way. It's not you. It's not your bag. Let it go. Let's take 2 more deep breaths in that way. Just sit in it. Accept it. Let it be. When you're ready, blink your eyes open and acknowledge yourself.
I don't know if y'all felt that, but I felt that. I was over here smiling. I hope I wasn't smiling super hard while I was meditating. I hope that brought you joy. I always look high when I'm done with Dion's brief moments. But I'm also really happy. I hope that brought y'all joy. Because it brought me joy. It brought me joy. It brought me peace. I might have saw my future husband in there somewhere, y'all. Lord. Come on. My future crew, you feel me? My ancestral crew who got me, you feel me? Squad was all up and through there, you feel me? My current crew, come on here. Everybody was there. And we was tea.
I just said it was a party, sis.
We was tea. So I hope y'all felt that beautiful vibration. Sending love and light to all of you as we go through this beautiful month of February honoring Black history. And I hope y'all celebrated 365, as I often say, because I know I do. It can be hard. It can be hard learning these truths. It can be hard staring systematic racism in the face. It can be hard staring straight up racism in the face. But it's important that we do so that we can make the changes that we can make to make this new normal that we so desperately need and make this plane of existence the beautiful space that it most definitely can be, because we can manifest that reality, because we have that power, we have that love, we have that light, we have that energy, as Dion Victoria has guided us to see in that breathe moment. So y'all take all this love and light with you as you go through your day to day. Until next Tuesday, We send you love. We send you peace. We send you energy. And check out our social media pages, our Facebook and our YouTube and our Instagram for weekly posts. Check our YouTube on the past Breathe Experience Tuesdays as well as the past Free Your Mind Fridays. It is all up on YouTube as well as our Facebook page. And we post tidbits and notes throughout the week on different topics and subject matters, art, history, health, and a whole lot of other greatness. So check out again our Facebook page and our Instagram page. And if you want to catch up on past Breathe experiences, make sure you go ahead and do that there right here on the Facebook page or on the YouTube. And yeah, can't forget Free Your Mind Friday. Hold on, here you go.
Yeah.
Free your mind.
And
You gotta say it like that every time. Free Your Mind Fridays, every Friday at 6 p.m., where we highlight some of our amazing artists, not only here in Chicago, but across the globe. We've had people from Texas, from Mississippi, from here in Chicago, and the list can go on and on. So make sure y'all tune in on Fridays at 6 p.m. Dion Victoria, I love you, sis. And we love all of y'all out there. Stay black, stay beautiful, stay educated, stay focused, stay observant. Keep giving love because love is all there is. And we're holla.